Hey everyone, Seth Campbell here with a new Segue Says podcast for the new week. This one is a favorite of mine that's one of the very few that I came up with the idea for the segue before I knew how to play either of the songs involved. Fortunately, they're fairly easy songs, so I was able to put it together pretty quickly, but I had to write it down as a reminder, like once you learn these songs, remember this segue. So the two songs are Wrapped Around Your Finger by The Police, which of course is Sting's band before he went solo, for those of you who don't know. And the second is Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. And these are two fairly straightforward songs, have a pretty consistent beat the whole time, and that's going to factor into this. They're in relatively the same scale, I guess, because Wrapped Around Your Finger is A minor, which for those of you who remember, we went into this discussion last week. A minor and C major are the same thing. Now, Dreams is in the F Lydian scale, which many of my Berkeley friends already knew that, know what this means. For those of you who aren't really into the technical stuff of music, let's just say that F Lydian, as opposed to F Ionian, which is what most people know as F major, it's whether it's B flat or B, so let's just say it's basically the same as C major. So although neither of these songs are actually in C major, and now that I think about it, neither of these songs even have a C major chord in them. There's a C major over E in Wrapped Around Your Finger, but that's beside the point. They're both going to use what many people know as the basic C major scale, and that's going to help us a lot because it means that the melodies, which are very much in the scale, are going to be somewhat interchangeable over the chords because the chords stay very much within the scale as well. So, Wrapped Around Your Finger, you may not know. Dreams, I'm sure you know, but Wrapped Around Your Finger is, the verses are mainly A minor to G, back and forth. You consider me the young apprentice, caught between the Scylla and Charybdis, hypnotized by you if I should linger, staring at the ring upon your finger. He's got this synthesizer riff to it. Then there's another verse before the chorus comes in, but the chorus is G major and F back and forth. I'll be wrapped around your finger. I'll be wrapped around your finger. To go back into the verses, it does that. But the G major, F major is basically Dreams, but the chords backwards, because the chords in Dreams are, I mean, they're variations with a lot of extra notes and tensions and extra voicings, but it's essentially F, G. That's what's in the bass at any rate. And that's the entire song of Dreams except for one A minor chord in between the verses as sort of a turnaround. But we needn't concern ourselves with that. The way I came up with this one involves the last verse of Wrapped Around Your Finger, because rather than just A, G back and forth, the point of the song, and this is one of the songs I suppose you could say is one of Sting's more pretentious lyrics in some way. I have a huge amount of respect for Sting, and I love that he writes songs about this, but it rubs some people the wrong way. It's about alchemy and the old quest by medieval philosophers and chemists to turn lead into gold. And it's the point of the story where the apprentice, who the song is sung by, is dreaming of the day when, unbeknownst to his teacher, he surpasses his teacher and becomes the best that ever was, and everyone will bow down to him instead of his teacher, his master. And to represent that with the music, and I don't know which member of the Police came up with this, but whoever did, probably Sting, but whoever did is a genius, to represent that sort of awakening and expanding instead of just the A minor G verses. He does the same melody but adds more chords. So listen to this. Devil in the deep blue sea behind me, vanish in the air, you'll never find me. I will turn your face to alabaster when you find your servant, he's your master. You'll be wrapped around my finger. And what you'll notice if you're listening carefully, for those of you who are more musically minded, is that twice in that progression you have either F to G or F to E minor, which is the relative minor of G. Which of course, you'll never find me. Now, for some reason, every time I heard Dreams, when I first became aware of it, I started thinking of the melody of Wrapped Around Your Finger, and that's where this idea kind of formulated. So, and before I really knew the melody of Dreams, what came into my head was that melody. And like I said earlier, you'll notice that it works. So, of course, that just added to my confusion at the time. But once I started coming up with these segues, I thought it was perfect. So the way to actually make the transition is much less interesting than the ways to kind of call back to the original song, because I don't like to go back into Wrapped Around Your Finger. I usually do Wrapped Around Your Finger, Dreams, and that's it. But within the song Dreams, I like to do a couple of callbacks. And, of course, Dreams, we haven't talked much about it, but it was the biggest hit Fleetwood Mac has ever had. Of course, Stevie Nicks doing the lead vocals. Well, there you go again, you say you want your freedom. Well, who am I to keep you down? It's only right that you should play the way you're feeling. You know it. But the chorus of it we'll come back to at the end of this, but as again I'm sure you know, it's the great three-part harmonies of Stevie Nicks, Christine McVie, and Lindsey Buckingham. So, thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. They say when they will come and they will go. Famous choruses of a pop song that there ever was, if you ask me. But so, as I said, the chorus of Wrapped Around Your Finger is just G, F, and Dreams is F, G. So you just have to reverse that progression, and you can do that rather than tacking on the last you'll be wrapped around my finger. In the original Police version, it does this again. Fades out on this sort of vamp on the A minor. But so you take away that little transition to get back to the A minor and just stop it on the F and pretty much immediately start Dreams. Just don't let the groove fall. It may sound like you're losing a measure in the harmonic rhythm, because you kind of are. But that's one of the best ways to reverse the progression suddenly. So it sounds something like this. I'll be wrapped around your finger. Got the pronouns wrong. You'll be wrapped around my finger. You'll be wrapped around my finger. to throw the audience off a little bit before starting to sing the lyrics of Dreams, you can do this. This, of course, is the verse melody of Wrapped Around Your Finger. That's totally optional, of course. Well, here you go again, you say you want your freedom. Well, who am I to keep you down? And there you go. In Dreams, and you can just keep going with Dreams. And at the very end, I noticed, by amazing coincidence, the number of syllables in the lyrics to the chorus and melody of the lyrics and melody of the chorus of Dreams are the same and distributed the same way as the verse of Wrapped Around Your Finger. And what I mean by that is, thunder only happens when it's raining, versus you consider me the young apprentice. Same syllable grouping. So if you really wanted to be ambitious, and there are very few times I actually perform this, but you know, if the audience seems really into it, I'll do it. Is, you know, you have when the rain washes you clean your nose. On the last chorus of Dreams, what you can do is, thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. Women, they will come and they will go. When the rain washes you clean, you'll know. You will know. You will know. You will know. And there you have it. So that last bit, like I said, it's more of a callback if you want to do it. And it sounds kind of jarring the first time you hear it, but when you realize that it technically fits, you know, it grows on you. So that is Wrap Around Your Finger into Dreams. And I hope you liked it. Hope I'll see you again next week. Thanks always for watching.